Join Fluffy the Cloud on an epic adventure as he sets off on a sky-high quest to find the lost cloud. Along the way, he'll soar above fluffy cumulus clouds and towering rain clouds, brave stormy skies, and even make friends with some rainbow sprinkles. Will Fluffy reach the lost cloud in time, or will the sun set before he can find it? Find out in today's adventure. Fluffy. The cloud was very fluffy. He loved nothing more than floating around all day with his friends, the other clouds, playing games such as cloud tag and cloud charades. One day, while playing a particularly rousing game of cloud tag, Fluffy drifted a bit too far from the others. Before he knew it, he was alone and separated from his fluffy cloud friends. As Fluffy looked around trying to find his friends, he noticed something strange. The sky wasn't filled with fluffy clouds like he was used to seeing. Instead, it was mostly empty. And what little clouds there were looked dark and grumpy. "Where are all the clouds?" asked Fluffy. A large gray cloud rumbled. "They all left this morning. They were tired of being ordinary clouds. So they went off to Cloudland, the place where all clouds go when they want to have fun." "Cloudland," Fluffy said dreamily. "I wish I could go to Cloudland, but I don't know the way." The grumpy cloud snorted. "Well, good luck finding it. You'll need it to cross the Stormy Sky Mountains, sail over the sea of storms, and fly through the cloudy maze, just to name a few dangers." With that, the grumpy cloud floated away, leaving Fluffy all alone. Although a little frightened, Fluffy was determined to find his friends. After all, he didn't want to spend another day without playing cloud charades, so with a deep breath, he set off towards the mountains. It wasn't long before Fluffy reached the Stormy Sky Mountains. As he began to climb higher, the air grew colder and windier. Soon, Fluffy found himself buffeted by strong winds that threatened to push him off course. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning streaked across the sky and Fluffy yelped, hiding his eyes behind his fluff. It seemed the Stormy Sky Mountains were even stormier than the grumpy cloud had warned. Just when Fluffy thought it couldn't get any worse, he heard a booming voice that shook the very sky. "Who dares disturb my sleep?" Startled, Fluffy peeked over the mountain and gasped. Before him stood the largest cloud he had ever seen. Fluffy quickly hid again as the giant cloud let out a mighty roar and sent a shower of raindrops tumbling down. When Fluffy finally dared to look again, he saw a small hole in the side of the cloud giant. Mustering all his courage, Fluffy flew into the hole and found himself inside the belly of the cloud giant. And to his amazement, instead of being stormy and scary, it was cozy and warm. In the distance, Fluffy spotted several small clouds huddled together. "Excuse me," called Fluffy, "but are you the Storm King?" The small clouds looked up, and one of them, who Fluffy soon learned was the youngest of the Storm King's children, asked, "Why do you want to know?" "Well," said Fluffy, "my friends, the clouds, they told me I needed your permission to pass through the Stormy Sky Mountains. Is that true?" "Oh, that's silly," said the young Storm King, giggling. "Father doesn't allow anyone to enter the Stormy Sky Mountains, not even clouds. But I think he's asleep right now. Why don't you sneak past him and avoid all the storms?" Fluffy thanked the young Storm King and hurried to the exit. Just as he reached the opening, however, the ground began to shake. Startled, Fluffy turned around and watched as the young Storm King's face grew darker and darker until it was as black as night. Then suddenly, "Get back here, Fluffy!" boomed the Storm King's voice. Fluffy turned and fled, dodging raindrops and lightning bolts as he made his way through the belly of the cloud giant. As he neared the exit, Fluffy heard the sound of rushing water and looked up to see a torrent of water blocking his path. Quickly, he ducked under the falling water only to find himself inside a dark, narrow passage. With no other choice, Fluffy began to move forward, hoping it would lead him out of the cloud giant's belly. As he floated through the passage, Fluffy noticed a faint light ahead. As he moved closer, the light grew brighter and brighter until suddenly he burst out of the side of the cloud giant and found himself sailing through a beautiful rainbow. The other end of the rainbow led to a fluffy white cloud, which Fluffy soon realized was the biggest, fluffiest cloud he had ever seen. Panting slightly from his adventure through the cloud giant's belly, Fluffy approached the great cloud. "Excuse me," he said. "Are you the Cloud King?" The Cloud King looked down at Fluffy and smiled. "Well, hello there, young cloud. What brings you to my humble abode?" "My friends, the clouds, they told me I needed your help to get to Cloudland. Is that true?" "Why? Yes," said the Cloud King, chuckling. "I heard you had quite the adventure getting here. Well, I guess you'll need a rest before we depart for Cloudland. Come, stay in my cloud car while my cloud coach prepares the flying chariot." Fluffy spent the afternoon relaxing in the Cloud King's soft, plush cloud car. Soon, the Cloud King woke him up and said, "All right, my dear Fluffy, it's time to take flight." The Cloud King stepped onto a giant cloud cushion and shouted, "Golly, gliders, full steam ahead." With a creak and a rumble, the cloud chariot began to move. Fluffy settled into a seat and held on tight as the Cloud King expertly steered them through the sky. The Cloud King's cloud chariot was unlike anything Fluffy had ever flown in before. It had soft, squishy seats, plenty of snacks, and even a cloud jukebox to play all their favorite cloud tunes. As they floated through the sky, Fluffy sipped some cloud juice and munched on some cloud cookies. Suddenly, the Cloud King shouted, "Whoa! Make way for the rainbow sprinkles." As they rounded a corner, Fluffy saw a group of colorful sprinkles dancing in the sky. "Do you mind if we join you?" asked Fluffy. "Of course," replied the lead sprinkle, twirling through the air. "We're on our way to the great sprinkle dance at Cloudland. Would you like to come?" After thanking the rainbow sprinkles, Fluffy returned to the Cloud King and said, "I'm sorry, but I must leave you now. My friends will be waiting for me at Cloudland, and I promised I'd be there soon." The Cloud King nodded understandingly. "Very well. Then I wish you the rest of your journey, young cloud." With that, Fluffy took a deep breath and set off toward Cloudland. It wasn't long before he spotted the majestic sight before him. Before him lay a vast expanse of fluffy white clouds, each one softer and more inviting than the last. As Fluffy descended, he could see that the other clouds had already begun their games of cloud charades and cloud tag. When his friends spotted him, they rushed over to greet him. "Fluffy!" cried one cloud. "We were so worried about you. We thought you weren't going to make it." "Me too," admitted Fluffy, hugging his friend. "But thanks to the Storm King's help, the rainbow sprinkles, and of course, the Cloud King, I made it." Together, the clouds cheered as they welcomed Fluffy back to Cloudland. They spent the rest of the day playing games and making new friends, and Fluffy knew he wouldn't trade his adventure for all the cloud juice in the sky. And that's the end of Fluffy's Big Balloon Adventure. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures. Until next time, happy adventuring!